Hey, I'm Todd. Thanks for choosing to watch my video, and if you would subscribe it, like it, all that stuff, that'd be great. Otherwise, enjoy the video, and I hope it gives you the information you need and is helpful to you. Take care. So I do get a lot of comments with people saying I have saved them a lot of money, and I do get questions, hey, can I send you some money somehow? And now there is a way, if you so choose, called fan funding. You'll find it on the channel page right there. 2002 Lexus RX300 front brake pad replacement. Doing the front brakes. Here we are at the master cylinder. We got a maximum and minimum. I'm going to go ahead and take the cap off, and we'll probably suck a little fluid out, because when we collapse the pistons, it's going to force fluid back up. We don't want it spilling out. It's a little low. We can go a little bit lower though. So when we collapse the piston, it'll bring it up. We won't be spilling brake fluid. So clean rag or something. Actually, there's a filter in there, so you can't get a rag in there any further. Probably take it out if you wanted to. Probably comes out somehow, but we'll just leave it well enough alone. Let's just keep an eye on it. When we collapse the pistons, we'll collapse one and we'll check the fluid level before we collapse the next one, and then when we're done, we'll want to pump the brakes a few times to set the pads and pistons all where they need to be, and then we can top off the fluid as needed right here. So here we go. Come down to the wheel. We've got 5 21mm lug nuts. Everything will be left to loosen, right to tighten. So break the lug nuts loose on the ground a turn or two, then we can jack up the vehicle, take the lug nuts off the rest of the way, and pull the tire off, and then we'll get to the caliper and brakes. Looks like the brakes are pretty well worn out, I believe. I like to just stick a screwdriver in here, try and get prying. Right now I'm prying on the caliper, as you can see, and then the rotor too, collapsing down some. And get between the rotor and the inner pad, and it keeps collapsing it down, pushing the piston back in its place. This is kind of a good way I like to do it, just because the piston will be set where it needs to be for the new pads. Nice. That's pretty close. We can also check the caliper slides here now and see how they are. Pretty good. So there we go. We know we can continue without taking too much more apart. You can clean these, put some lubricant on them. That was a good idea, just a little caliper lube. If it's frozen, you may want to consider new calipers before you take the rest apart. It's just good to know before you take it all apart. So we know the piston collapses, and we know the slides are okay, so we can continue with our brake job. Looks like I'm going to say 14mm bolts here. Probably 17mm bolts here, so we'll take those loose. These two first. Everything again, left to loosen, right to tighten. Take these loose, take the caliper off. and the rotor should just slide off. If not, you can get a couple metric bolts, 8 by 1.25, put them in here and screw them in. It should force the rotor off. Also, you can tap on it with a hammer. Usually it'll break it loose and get it machined smooth again or replace it. Boom, that is removing your brake pads, brake rotor, brake caliper. Let's go ahead and wipe down this with a rag or maybe even a little bit of emery cloth where the pad rides in here. Just clean this up as best you can. Sometimes you get new ones, sometimes you don't with the pads. I did not, so we'll clean them up.
Hey, you're a professional. Burrito filler. I was thinking about talking about. Wait, my extra acid. Actually explode, huh? See that Facebook, that's true.
Notice the rubber tip on this one? And we'll clean them up and then we'll start putting stuff back together with our new rotors and pads. Piston collapsed pretty nice, so we just kind of rock it on here and collapse the piston a little bit more and get it to fall into place. These little flat spots will sit on the flat spot here, flat spot there as well, right there. Boom, like that. He's getting the lock and key out. This is a caliper bolts, 25 foot-pounds. I'm guessing it's these. I don't get a spec for the anchor bolts. But that's about it. Do the same thing for the other side. Do them in pairs. The lug nut torque spec is 76 foot-pounds, I bet. So somewhere over 80 is fine. Tighten them in a star-cross pattern. Tighten, 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 like that. Then you get in the vehicle and pump the brakes a few times like we talked about while checking out the master cylinder. And like we said, now we're going to go to the other side and we'll double check the fluid level in the master cylinder, make sure it's not running over. But that is replacing your front brake pads. Doing your front brake pads on your Lexus RX300. Good luck to you, you can do it.